Hey everybody, welcome to our 35th anniversary. I have a special little program planned for you. So let me kind of tell you what's happening. For the first half an hour or so, I'm going to be getting into some technical areas of trapping, and I'm going to be showing you some techniques that I've used out of the straight blast in a fight, beyond just grabbing the neck and going into the headbutt, knee, and elbow. After that, we're going to be covering something special, and this is my gift to you for our 35th anniversary. I have been inundated lately with calls from police departments and police officers. In case you haven't been noticing, there's a whole quagmire of things going on with the police department, and they're changing everything, okay? This is the prime time for all of my students to get involved in a local police department next to you. When you start teaching at a police department, it gives you your authenticity. So I'm going to teach you my law enforcement program in this webinar. This would normally be a $2,000 program. I have no way of testing you for this. So I'm not going to give you a certificate for something if I don't see you. When you show up at our 35th anniversary at our retreat, I will test you. My retreat coming up, our 35th anniversary, is an instructorship retreat. I do this every 20 years. Instead of you having to fly to my home to get recertified, to move you up to the next level, I'm going to do it at the retreat, okay? And then that you don't have to pay a thing. So if you want to get certified in the law enforcement, then you just come to the retreat, okay? So now, what I'm going to do is I'd like to take you in, I'm going to start a little bit from the beginning and go through things I hope you know already. And this is about our rat, and this is about our straight blast, and this is about what happens. Most of the time, if you do a destruction, or you take an eye, or you just punch a guy in the face, and you come flying in with a straight blast, 95 out of 100 times it looks like this. The person gets hit, boom, 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 and they do that, okay? So when you're blasting, Ricky, okay? So we're moving around, and I come in and I start my blast on Ricky, okay? He just kind of goes like that, okay? So watch again, Ricky. We're moving around, bam, bam, bam. This is the most common. There are 6 responses that a human being can give on a blast, and that's due to morphology, and it's immutable. It has nothing to do with what style or system. You can either put your right hand up and cover, or you can put your left hand up and cover. You can get hit and spin and cover this way with no hand is there. But this is open. You can get hit and spin this way. You can duck your head straight down, boom, boom, boom. Or, number 6, you could turn and run. As the punches come, you already got a big step and you're out the door. That's it. So if you work your blast in combat and you have your opponent put in one of those moves arbitrarily, either a block or a turn or a down or a spin, you will have this hardwired in your brain, and you don't have to go through 30 years of figuring out what works and what doesn't work. I'm giving it all to you. I'm mainlining it, okay? So the one we're going to cover today is the most common one, and that's this. Okay, Ricky? I don't want to have to blast Ricky every time and have him do this. Save me the trouble, guys. I'm just going to start from here, okay? If you ever hear anybody say, no fight starts from here, I would highly agree. Back when we were teaching trapping, everybody used to say, why have a reference point? If you're punching and he's punching, you're never going to meet that. However, if you straight blast somebody, this will evoke the visceral response of this. So when I'm coming in, and yeah, quick and up, yeah, bam, 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 yeah, and I'm going to be stuck here. And when this visceral response occurs, then I have to go through my trap. So yes, you will find yourself here if you blast down the center line, okay? But if you don't blast, you'll never be there. It's like saying triangle chokes don't work, and you're talking to a kickboxer. Well, you got to be horizontal there, Chief. Okay? All right, so the move we're going to do, let me get you over here, Ricky boy. Out of the straight blast. When I asked Dan, I said, sometimes when I'm blasting, I don't feel what's going on. I'm having difficulty feeling and he's blocking. And Dan said, if you add 2 things to Wing Chun, if you add 2 things to this blast, that problem will go away. The first thing is, instead of coming down the center line, when you get your obstruction, go high, low, high, low. If you're going high and low, it's infinitely greater and more difficult to block than if you're just going down one line. So say I already blasted Ricky and we're here. The minute I go here, give me a real fast block for it. Don't let me hit you. There you go. All right. Boom, boom. Then this goes low, and this goes high, ooh, low again. Boom, and high again. Okay? So I go high, low, high. So imagine we're in a fight. Maybe he gets a shot in. Boom. Maybe a kick in. Bam. Then he shoots another shot. Boom. And I get a destruction. And now I'm coming in with a blast and he gets this up. Minute, bam, 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 bam. Boom. That's when you do your thing. If this did not occur and I was just blasting without anything occurring, bam, bam, then it's obviously more efficient to just go here. We're doing advanced rack. I'm into the here's what happens if things screw up. So the first thing I want you to put for your technique is high, low, high. And this is done with a half beat. So the half beat again is, this is a beat. Give me a block there, Chief. Boom, that's a beat. You can even listen to the hit. Hear it? Now listen to the half beat. I don't really want this. But bam, this is what I want. But bam, this is what I want. I'm looking for this, boom, but this. And then I can come with a full beat. So, high, low, high, out of a half beat, out of your blast. First technique I want you to work. Second technique, Dan would say, high-low is one of the best ways to get in when somebody's covering. The next best way is collie. You don't come straight. In collie, you zone. Everything is lateral. So let's see what angle would be best for this. Right about there. If I do a fast block, a fast pox saw on Ricky, he'll block it. Or perhaps. So, boom. So, boom. So as I go in, freeze. Now when Ricky blocked this, don't move, Ricky. As you see, his hand is in center line. That's good form. I don't want my opponent to have good form. So when I go, instead of going here, I'm going to go here. So Ricky blocked this one. Did you feel a little touch?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay? If he blocks it, this is already here. Let me go half speed. Boom, you're blocking. Yeah, just do that. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. So I go 1, 2, and then boom, I'm in again. So to go 1, 2, work this in the mirror. Pox out, not straight, but pox out with an angle. And then this comes in angles here. It's heaven 2. Look at it again. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. So one way to beat the system is to go high, low, high. One way to beat the system of a good blocker who's covering well and you're not seeing anything is to go lateral. So watch again. High, low, high, low, high, or boom, boom, lateral. The third way. Let me write this down for you. Lateral eye jabs. So we're going high, low, high, and we're going lateral. This is a Wing Chun man with a turbocharge of athleticism, okay? And we're attacking the eyes. The third is what I call the unblockable lop sao. Okay, Ricky? When I do a lop sao, boom, this is what it looks like. Just like any other Wing Chun move, it's blockable. So when I go with this lop, and if you block with bong sao, boom, then I'm going to come under, bite down, boom, and I'm going to crank the shoulder. It makes your teeth, okay? But if he blocks with this hand, so when I go lop sao, boom, okay, I'm not going to get in. So watch what I do. I do a lop sao and I go past his head. Don't even, just kind of stay there, okay? Just past his head. You can't block this because it's coming from backward in. This is past his head. I extend this knuckle and I wrap it on the bones on this eye socket. There's no way to tell you. I'd rather take a shot in the balls than what this feels like done properly. Dan did it to me once. My eye was shut for a week, okay? So when I go here, boom, I go here and I'm hitting. I will open my hand. Instead of this, I'm doing this. So you're wrapping. If I wrap, boom, and he blocks it, boom, then, oh, you okay? Perfect. Then I wrap again, boom. So we go wrap, block, and then back in. The normal lop sao, boom, boom. The one I'm referring to comes this way, boom, boom. It's terrible. So we have 3 moves that are my favorite moves. Sometimes you go for a pak sao here, and he fights you with this, and you can't even get in after I pak sao, okay? And that's the fight. Boom, that's when you go for the lop. Sometimes it gets right in. Bam, 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 boom. That's when you go for your other stuff. So depending on his energy, you're going to get into one of those 3 moves. And in my experience, those are the best 3 moves you can do out of the lop sao because they occur often and they're difficult to block. So the third one is a lop sao. Passing and hitting on the way in. Goes past and hits. Past and hits. On the orbital, is that what that's called? Anyway, antecubital fossa, just kidding. Okay, so get your 3 moves down. Practice them, do your rat regular, headbutt, knee, and elbow. Then all of a sudden your partner goes, oh, and he gives you an obstruction. Then kick into number 1. Do that 10 times in a row. Then go back to your rat, and he gives you another obstruction. When you get these obstructions, do it while you're sparring. You might not get all the moves exactly. You might only get, let's say I'm blasting, he blocks, I go high, low, and I go high, and now get out of the way, go, 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 and I never get that third low. That's okay. It's not, you don't have to do every move. But the high, low, high, and the lateral, when you have an obstruction, will get you back into the game. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, write this down, and digest it. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you a very brief rendition of our law enforcement program. The reason you should be able to get this considerably quicker than the 2 days it takes me to teach this is because you pretty much know most of the moves in the program already. You just haven't put it together. You don't know how to teach it, and you don't understand how to explain it. So I'm going to cover that with you. I want you to practice it. If you show up at my retreat, you will get a big, nice law enforcement certificate as if you did a $2,000 program with me for free. And then you can use this certificate, and I will help you get into various police departments. You have to go straight to the training guy. You usurp the office. You have to speak to the training guy, not like I'm going to replace you, but I'm going to teach you how to do this, and then you will be the man when I leave. So there's a certain psychology that I'm going to teach you. I've made all the mistakes, so, you know, a wise man learns from his mistakes, a wiser man learns from someone else's. So in getting in a police department, there's a thing you do. And once you've established with that training guy, then you get into the department. You do your first seminar for free, okay? And the only thing you require is you say to them, if you liked this seminar, I want a letter of recommendation on your letterhead. This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer, okay? And you give the seminar, and now you have a letter of recommendation from a police department. This becomes your authenticity for what we're going to do with you over the next year, okay? All right, now, my simple mind requires a simple fighting system, okay? So there are 3 levels in my law enforcement system. There is passive resistance. Passive resistance means get in the car, get in the police car, F you. Put your hands behind your back, F you. You know, it gets up in your face. So the bad guy is just not responding to your request, but there's no physical altercation there. But you need this person moved out of the street, wherever. When this occurs, okay, we resort to locking. Locking is a way that you can move somebody without hurting them. And I've always said, don't try to lock somebody if you're in a fight with a 6'2" pissed off Samoan. This is for a particular time and place. If this altercation goes beyond just passive resistance and goes into what we deem in our continuum as medium resistance, this means you say, F you, and he throws a punch at the officer. It's the haymaker. This happens all the time, okay? This police officer is not worried for his life or death, but on the other hand, he's got to know how to block a strike. And we do destructions, and we teach this to Navy SEALs because you don't need to spend 20 years slipping, bobbing, weaving, ducking, and blocking, and hoping your timing's right. You just get your hand up, okay? So, medium resistance, medium force, we do a destruction. Now notice, I call this defensive posture. Again, you're going to learn from my mistakes. I remember being in the court. I remember one of my police officers in the courtroom. And I remember the judge. And I remember the assailant over here with a broken hand. And the judge says, what'd you do? How did this happen? How did this occur? I did a destruction. Yeah, no shit. So we changed that lexicon. It didn't work. Our destructions work like a motherfucker, okay? But the lexicon didn't. So we wanted to make it more friendly for police officers. So now this is a defensive posture. You ran into my elbow, okay? Completely different metaphor, all right? And I hope you all know the rat. So if you have lethal force, you do the rat. Ironic, in most police departments, they assume just because somebody has an empty hand, there's no way to make this a lethal force. So when somebody says, here's the police officer loaded with a weapon, here's the bad guy, and the police officer headbutted him, kneed him, elbowed him, and bit off his ear. What's wrong with this picture? How could that be lethal force to the police officer? And I have one answer for you, and it works like a charm. The man went for my gun. You're a police officer, some big Samoan, and he's not only coming at you with a one simple haymaker, but he's coming at you with ferocity, with unbending intent to hurt you, okay? Any man that comes at you with unbending intent to hurt you is going to go for your gun. Any judge on God's earth will understand that if the bad guy grabs a gun, this is lethal force, thus being justified. I tell this to officers all the time. It's first 10 minutes I'm in there and we do the rat and all the cops raise their hand, we can't do that. And I look them all in the eye and go, can you shoot them in the head? Well, yeah. Because they think, well, if I shoot you, it must be lethal force, and if it's empty hand, it's not. And I say, well, if you're allowed to shoot him in the head because you're worried for your life or death, if you went for your gun, you're allowed to headbutt him. And this has worked for 30 years, that paradigm. So please understand it, hear it, because they're going to give you an objection when they see my military shit. And I want you to have that objection met before it comes. All right? Now, Ricky, locking. I'm going to show you a very basic lock flow. Maybe I say, look, man, I need you over here. Come on. No, actually, let's go back over here. Okay, well, let's get over here and handcuff you. Okay? So when you put locks on people, it enables you to move them from place to place. You're not worried about your safety. So the first lock we're going to do is if he grabbed me or something. It's just your first basic wrist lock just to start off. So you grab the thumb here and you put your pressure here and you just drop it. Now with this same hand, I grab here, I break his balance a little bit and I walk him. I can walk him from here back to Cleveland if I wanted. Punch me with your right hand, left hand. Okay? Yeah, he's not getting anything behind it. He can't really, and if I really wanted to, okay, then he would really not be able to do it, okay? So the idea is when you have a lock, you can walk him all over the place, okay? So we have 1, 2. Now I reverse it, 3. This third lock is where I might want him if I'm going to handcuff him, if I have other officers coming, okay? So we watch again. 1, 2, 3. Now I just pick it straight up, and this all the way up, and this is 4. Okay, up, 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 up. Let's go, up, 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 up. Let's go, sir. Nope, back down. I need you back. No, up, 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 up. Let me get you over here. No, let me get you back over here. So you're moving this guy where you want, telling him what to do. You have to give verbal commands as you're telling him. It's like a dog, okay? You can't just pull up on the collar. You got to tell him, sit. Okay. I didn't mean to say you were a dog. No. Your wife said you were a dog. I didn't. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5. Just a wrap. A basic wrap. Okay? Now 6, you only do if you have to because it brings him too close to your weapon. Moreover, 6 has been eliminated in most police departments. So this is 6. We can't do this anymore. So we're going to go from here straight to this arm. You can shift from arm to arm. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any one of those works. But if he struggles out of it, you might have to flow to a different one. So those are the 6 moves we do for passive resistance. Now, for medium force, I'll come to you, Ricky. All he's going to do is destructions. Excuse me. Defensive postures. Okay? So, hey, what'd you say to me, motherfucker? Hey, Speedy, reflexes of a startled mongoose. Do a destruction. Wake up. All right, here we go. What'd you say, motherfucker? Boom. Yeah. Okay. Hey, fuck you. I'm not doing shit. I'm not going to my car. Boom. Okay? So all the officer does is he puts his hands up. He gets in a defensive posture. Now, when you're teaching this to a police department, you know, this is a 2-hour thing. Half of them have gloves, the other half don't. You teach them about range. You teach them if you're too close, you can't do this, you got to do something different. So what I'm giving you in a short period of time is because you're advanced. You already know most of the techniques. But when you're working with police officers, oh God, don't assume that. Trust me, unless it's LA SWAT, you would be stupefied at their level. Okay? So, locking, passive resistance. Defensive posture, destructions, medium resistance. Lethal force, you do the rat. You justify lethal force by the metaphor of, he was going for my gun. He's attacking me. I was worried for my life. The name of this system is Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. And when you teach this, we're going to give you a letter we can talk about the various police departments that we have already worked with. So I'm going to help you guys as best I can to get you hooked up to start teaching the little piggies. And I think you're going to do well and have fun. And you're going to meet some wonderful people along the way. I have so many friends in the military and police. Okay? So, this is my goal. Write some notes down. You will be the quickest person that has ever gotten this system. Now I'm going to give you a code. And the code is THX1138. THX1138. Bring that code to my retreat. We will cross-section that code with your name on the webinar, and you will be able to do a test for me, doing this, and I will certify you with a law enforcement program at my retreat. Okay? So far we have the straight blast, my 3 favorite things to do out of the blast, and we have the law enforcement program. Okay? And that's in our first half an hour. Stick with me. Okay, for this next portion, I want to discuss some strategy with you. In the military and in the martial art world, everybody likes to talk about what they're going to do to the bad guy. In the military, the younger kids talk about tactics, all of my younger SEALs. My older SEALs in their 30s and 40s from SEAL Team 6, we know tactics. We're going to talk strategy. Okay? If you're in a street fight, you have to first predicate the fight on strategy, not tactics. If you use the right tactics and the wrong strategy, you could die. So let me give you an example. You're in a bad situation in a bar, and 4 guys are picking a fight with you. okay? You were pushing one guy and his 3 friends came. One slaps you, one pushes you, and they're all 4 here, and they're 4 badass bikers, okay? Do you think it would be helpful to know your asymmetrical violence? I'm asking you this question and I want you to think about it. Do you think it would be helpful to know how to poke eyes, bite off an ear, remove an eyeball? No. You're using the right tactics, but the wrong strategy. Okay? A, if you can't run and 4 people are going to beat your ass, cover. Cover. Cover and just hope to God you don't die. There's no fighting. What if one guy gets me on the ground and I have his ear in my mouth and I remove it? Can you imagine when he looks at his 3 friends with blood shooting down? Do you know what's going to happen to that fight? If I take out an eye, if I bite off a limb, and I'm fighting 4 people, or 5 or 6, and one of them gets wounded badly? So, if you've been there, and unfortunately I have, you're going to put an emphasis on strategy over tactics. And it's going to be counterintuitive to you in some cases. Okay? All right, so with that said, situations of 3-on-1, if they're all 3 fighters, it's very, 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 very difficult to win that fight unless you're in a bar where you can use bottles and things. Okay? So let's say I'm in a situation and I'm up against the wall and I have 3 guys I want to fight. Most people, stay there for now, most people on the wall and they see 3 guys, they're like, F you, let's go. I'm not a pussy, let's go. And he's going to start swinging at people. Take this guy, shoot a punch at this guy, grab this guy's coming in. And you're in a cluster F. There's no way to win that. Okay? Maybe you know asymmetrical violence and you have been a student of mine, but you're not thinking strategy. And the first guy comes to you, okay, and you remove his nose. Okay? The other 5 guys are going to beat you. So I'm going to address the most amount of people I will ever get asymmetrical with. 3. This is based on my experience. 3 guys, I'll take out an ear and take my chance with the other 2. But when it gets up on 4 and 5 and 6, leave your asymmetrical violence in your pocket, take your licks, go home and lick your wounds. Okay? All right, so here's what we would do if we had to fight 3 people seriously. And it's about strategy. So first, boys, just walk up to me like we're starting shit, but don't do anything. Let's say I'm just here against the wall. Okay? Now just freeze there for a moment. Okay? So the typical thing is me and you were in an argument on a pool game. F you, you're not a ringer, blah, blah. And then you shove me, boom, or something, and then you come up, give me a slap, yeah. And now I'm in this fight. Whatever somebody's problem is, you don't address that problem. Let them get it out, and while they're talking, do something. So as you guys are here, okay, first thing is boom, bam, 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 boom. That's never going to change. Let me explain to you the strategy. My first best shot, I hope it's going to take him long enough to get over this. So when I go bam, boom, and then go right to the next guy, just to engage the 3rd guy now. Now I have a 1-on-1 on the 3rd guy. If I chose to just say maybe punch him instead, he's going to hit me back. The gang's coming in, and this is a bad day for Uncle Vu. Okay? If I chose, and this is strategy now, to headbutt the shit out of him, boom, he's on the ground bleeding and screaming. And this guy, if I didn't do a blast to get me away from him, okay, come at me. Me and him are fighting. No, if I didn't do a blast. Bam, 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 and now you come in, and I'm back in the shit again. So I have to separate these 2 and take out this guy with my first best shot. You got to think about this. You got to go over this. When I go into a restaurant, if you ask me to get a table in the middle of the restaurant, you might as well ask me to take my clothes off and enjoy my meal. okay? I put my back to the wall. I scope out the place, and then I'm like, bunch of Bambis here. Half of them are drunk, who cares? And now I can relax the rest of the night. But if I scope out the place and I don't like a few energy, I keep my bearings with me, okay? So think about strategy and address the ramifications of what you're going to do in the long term, okay? Now that we're on this subject, another situation that I see all the time. Two people go out in the parking lot and have a fight. But they weren't the only two people to walk in that bar. They each had friends, girls, whatever. So now they're being followed out by their little group of people, their little cadre of friends. And while these two people are fighting, the other guys jump in. I was in Hawaii, and this was the 80s. And I'm in Kauai. And all I wanted to do was buy a little marijuana. That's all I wanted to do, buy a joint. I'm in Hawaii. So I go up to all these dudes. Hey, bro, you got some weed? No. You got some weed? No. Third guy, you got some weed? You're a effing cop. I'm not a cop, blah, blah, blah. Big Hawaiian. He gets up, and he starts moving with me. And in those days, I was all tactics, no strategy. He had 3 of his friends here. Now, they weren't pussies enough to beat me up, but they weren't going to sit around and let their friend get beaten up either. So the irony of this fight was, I'm moving with this guy, and he wasn't much of a fighter for a Samoan. I'll give you that. He wasn't the deep-end street fight that you're usually in with a guy 80 pounds heavier than you. So I'm hitting him, and I'm kicking him, and pretty soon, every time I'd hit him, bam! Fuck! One of those guys would hit me. I'd hit this guy, bam! And then it dawned on me, maybe you shouldn't beat their friend up, okay? So that's a silly scenario and a silly situation. But extrapolate that paradigm in any place you are and always worry about strategy. All right, now, next one. Ricky, you grab double stick and put a knife in your pants. In the back end, Ricky, not the front end. Okay? We don't want you to, circumcise yourself. Okay? Grab your sticks. Come on over here. All we're going to do is our regular sparring. Little stick, little knife, little kickboxing, little ground. But you're going to see what happens when his friends kick in. Maybe they're going to be mean and try and kill you, or maybe they're just going to arbitrarily throw shit and F with you, okay? You need to address this. When I watch two people spar MMA, they're so myopically focused on each other. In a bar, you need to be looking around you. The best one-on-one fighters are MMA guys. But when you get them in a bar, they try to do their MMA against bottles and mass attack. And I've seen it. I've had MMA friends my whole life. And you cannot use MMA tactics or MMA strategy in a mass attack, because most street fights are mass attack and weapons. So keep this in mind. Okay, ready, boys? All I want you to do, fool around. I'll go double stick, then I'll tell you single stick, then we're going to go knife, then we'll do a little kickboxing, and then we'll hit the ground. My boys around me, grab stuff. Grab a glove. Godfrey, grab a glove. Okay. Glenn, grab a glove. Okay, all I want is every 3 seconds, throw something at them. Come up and kick them. Do something to aggravate these two so they're learning to not be myopically focused on each other, but to look at the periphery while you're sparring or while you're fighting. And in order to do it, we got to train this way. All right, ready, set, double stick sparring, and go. Single stick. Knife. Drop it, kickbox. Hit the ground. Come on up. And vert. Oh, ho, ho. Your wife had to hit you with the last shot when you were all done in the back of the head. Give me some, baby. Okay. Is that the way you train? Because if it's not, you should. Okay? There will never be another better way to win a one-on-one fight than doing Thai boxing, adding Wing Chun in, doing asymmetrical violence with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and weapons. We'll have a nuclear war before we ever have a better fighting system than that, okay? But when you just isolate the one-on-one part, that's the MMA part, okay? I've told you this statistic before. I want you to hear it again. Los Angeles Police Department, Florida Police Department, the biggest departments in the world, 88 out of 100 fights involve weapons and mass attack. So if we spend 88% of our energy working one-on-one only, and very, very little energy working weapons, defanging, strategy, tactics of mass attack, you're not really a street fighter, you're a sports person, okay? I put a lot of time and energy into this particular webinar. This is our 35th anniversary, and I just want to give you, in my heart, what's the most important things. And it's not always how you can kick this guy's ass, but it's what fucks up in a fight. When you go, oh my God, I never thought that would happen. So all the mistakes I've made, all the times I've lost fights, I've lost so many, okay? But usually it's a mass attack. It's not a one-on-one. And any mistake I've made, I make sure we never make it again. So stay with our tactics, stay with our strategy. Train this way. Everybody asked me to do a whole dissertation on disarms, okay? My favorite disarm is to defang. Every other disarm on the planet is incidental, if not accidental. However, Uncle Vu aims to please. Y'all wanted disarms, so I gave you half an hour of disarms, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna watch the next half an hour in which we're now completely digressing straight to disarms, okay? After that, we're gonna have a talk and we're gonna delve into the deepest aspects of fear. And then I'm gonna show you a video that I put together and we will call it a night. And I hope you will have enjoyed our program. So stay with us. We have a half an hour coming up of disarms. Hey guys, Vunak here. Welcome to Disarm Mania. Everybody wants disarms, so we're going to give you disarms. But I'm going to talk to you from the heart, okay? Most of the shit I'm about to show you is incidental, if not accidental. There's one disarm, Ricky, there's one disarm that works in a fight, okay? Hit me. Bah! Oh, shit. Sorry, Ricky. Let's do this again.
No, that was good.
You okay? Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. Ricky, yeah. Don't be there. Go hit me with a stick. Yeah, like a little further away.
Oh, okay.
You walked right up to here.
It's okay.
And yeah.
Don't want to cut that out.
No, we don't want that. Let's do it again.
Well, I think it was a delay too.
Okay, boss. Hey guys, Vunak here. Welcome to Disarm Mania. Now, I'm going to speak to you from the heart, as I always do, okay? There's one disarm that works all the time, and that's to smash the hand. Everything else that I'm about to teach you is incidental, if not accidental. You might just have yourself stuck here and you go boom and you disarm it. Or so you're always stuck in a position and it's weird and it's an accidental thing. You never go for a disarm, okay? It's the most difficult thing to do. Why do we work them? Because it is the most wonderful drill to teach you sensitivity. Well, when you're able to flick with a stick around and move it and then disarm it out of midair, your eyesight, your hand coordination, your footwork, your spontaneity, your quickness, your reflexes, your timing, you know, that moves at 150 miles an hour at the end of the stick. No hand does, okay? So when we're able to disarm a stick from movement, and you've raised your attributes to that level, then I ask you to pak sao, lap sao, headbutt, eye jab. Oh my God, it's a piece of cake for you, okay? Remember, people don't use Wing Chun trapping because they're not good enough at it. So we're gonna add the disarms as a way to help you train. Okay, so come on in, Ricky. Now, actually, let me get you to here, Rick. Before we actually use you, I want you to see the board here, gentlemen, okay? In order to do disarms, I have put together a formula that makes it very easy for you. You only need to know 3 things. What is the angle of attack? What block are you doing? And then which disarm are you doing for the aforementioned block, okay? Now, you know, you've got every martial art, Filipino style in the world. I have 22 angles, I have 18, I have 12. Dan taught me 5, I think they're really good. I don't need any more. Okay, angle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can go into, this is 12, 13, 72. It's just not necessary, okay? So with these simple 5 angles, there's about 6 or 7 basic blocks we do, okay? Wing block, roof block, shield, drop stick, umbrella, and cross block. Okay, so Ricky, let me borrow you. The first one I'm gonna do, and I left out a snake. I can never leave out my snake. Oh, I didn't, he's over here. Okay, Ricky, let me borrow you. Now, when you come in me with an angle, okay, I do my block. This is my roof block. This is a snake. Okay, if you get me on angle 2, Ricky, please. Okay, I do my block. This is a snake. 3. So I do my wing block. This circles to a snake. Maybe he hits me here, bam, in the head, and maybe I hit him here, and I hit him here, and we're struggling and fight, and I go to headbutt, bam, and I go boom, and I pull a snake out. That's what I mean when I say you're in this struggle and it's incidental if not accidental. The main thing we're going to do when he comes at me is I'm going to go boom. I'm going to hit his hand. Okay? That hand is the main shot. Okay, so the snake, one more time. Wrap. Come in 2. Wrap. So you're wrapping on each angle. If you really want to do it properly, again, please, don't just stand here, I was lazy, but zone a little bit. Zone out, okay? The next disarm is going to be a vine. A vine disarm. The snake moves like a snake. A vine, you're actually putting in a piece of stick. So you're using the stick as leverage. So if he gives me a 1, okay, boom, I go here. That's my vine disarm. If he gives me a 2, bam, I hit here. and this is my vine disarm. So whatever he gives me, okay, 3 next. Okay, so whatever he gives me here, boom, this is my disarm. Let me show you this again. 3. Wing block, I pulled to here, vine. Okay, so a 4 is nothing more than a low 2, and you do the same vine. So we're using the leverage of the stick to disarm the weapon, whereas the snake, we were using the hand. Are you with me so far? We're going to do 20 years in an hour, and you're going to have to watch this over and over again. I don't like teaching this way. I don't like teaching techniques. I don't like teaching all this shit. You wanted it. You wanted to get disarms. I want you to have it, but it's hard for me to stay in here without teaching headbutts and eye jabs and everything. But I'm going to do a full hour focused on just disarms, so you'll have everything you need to know. It's 30 years in an hour, okay? So we have a snake and we have a vine. Next, a quick release. A quick release, angle 2 please. He blocks here. Now on a quick release, it's the only disarm that the weapon flies. So I grab and I peel the thumb, and that's when the weapon just flies. I can fly the weapon anywhere. Down is easiest. You can obviously shoot it, boom. I can fly it into his face. I can fly it into his groin, okay? So at the end of the day, when I'm doing my move, but that's the quick release. Come in again, please. I do a shield block. It could be a wing block. It could be an outside deflection. Boom. But when you peel it here, the thumb peels, and this goes this way. Quick release. Thank you, sir. And here we have a strip. Okay, and go in, please. So this is a strip. Okay, give me 2. You can't do a strip on the even numbers because I'd have to grab the stick and do this. So any even number is a quick release. Any odd number is a strip. What's the difference? A strip, I'm hitting his hand, I'm grabbing the weapon, and I'm stripping it. If he's got a good grip, that when I hit the hand, that will loosen the grip. Okay? So when I go bam on the hand with a roof block, and then I go boom, and I strip it. Okay? And these are boring. You got to go through this. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Okay? So a snake and a vine work on all numbers. A strip, they work on odd numbers. A quick release, they work on even numbers. So watch what I mean. If you give me an angle 2, if this is a knife, and I go to snake this knife, cut my neck. He's going to cut. If this is a knife, give me a 2, please. And I go to strip this knife, I'm holding it and cutting it. You can't, any blade, you can't grab the blade. So when a 2 comes in, you cannot touch this because it's for a blade. So you grab the thumb, and this will be on the flat of the blade. Grab this blade here real quick. Grab it. Oh, let me have that one. Great, you take that. Thanks. Hit me 2. Okay, so when I come in here, notice I'm on the flat of the blade of the machete. I can't do one. I can't do a snake. Pull out and cut me. I can't do a strip. 1. Pull out and cut my hand. I can't do a vine because I got to hold the blade to do a vine. So when the 1 comes in, bam, I shift it to the angle 2, and I do the quick release. Is this a lot for you and complicated? I know. We can get this one-on-one. We can get it in training. But I'm going to take you through everything I know, and then you can call and ask questions about everything. Okay? So right now, we have covered a snake, a vine, a quick release, and a strip. So watch us now doing this out of the flow. Okay? So you're doing a roof block. We're doing sombrata. Oh, I need a regular stick. There we go. So this is sombrata. This is our flow. Let me do this slow in case you don't know sombrata. Okay? This is an advanced webinar. Okay, so he gives us, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then later, when you're flowing, just flow with me, keep it going, keep it going. Yeah, I can do what I want. I can fake this and come up to here. I can go down here. I can come in this way, come around this way. And we're just letting this thing fly. And we find our way back home again. So when I was doing sombrado with Dan, it was never click, 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 click. It's not a pattern. You break out of the pattern and you're faking. So no two sombrados are the same. So once we learn the disarms, snake, bind, quick release, and strip, and we do them out of these basic blocks that we have, here's our numbers and our blocks, then we progress to doing it out of sombrado. So watch what I do. Flow with me. I'm going to find the snake disarm. You just keep it flowing. Don't do anything different. That's the snake disarm. Doesn't require speed, just requires timing. Just wherever I'm at. Keep it flowing. Keep it flowing. Keep it moving no matter what. When we make a mistake, we just keep it flowing. Keep it flowing. Okay? And that's the snake. Okay? So when you do a snake, you're looking and you're hunting. You're going to make a mistake. He's going to make a mistake. You're going to both flow through it. Now we do the vine. We're going to do our sombrado, and we do it out of the flow again. So, real slow. Not hard, just flow. There you go. Now, when I do a vine, I need to put this here to get the vine. So the timing has to be right. Right when I'm here, I have to grab this angle to vine. If I'm looking for, keep flowing, please. Okay, and that is my snake angle. Give me an angle 2, just an angle 2, Ricky. Okay? This is my vine out of an angle 2. This is my vine. You can break this up a little bit. Give me an angle 2. If I go bam, and then I turn it this way, freeze there, Ricky. Then, when I come across here, this is my shot. Hold it with your thumb around it. Yeah, okay. So do it again, please, angle 2. Okay, bam. I turn it around here, okay? And then this is the thumb squeeze. Number 2, let's do 2. Bam, I turn it around here. Bam, I back off, and then I can take it with this side. Okay? So there's lots of different angles that you can do and variations. So we're flowing. Slow, slow. Now look for the moves. Strip. Keep flowing. Snake. Quick release. And eventually, we're way out here. High, low, high. High, low, high. High, back off. There you go. Say inward, low back end, high back end. Inward, low back end, high back end. Now I break in. I break into sombrado. Now we flow. Slow. Okay. And that's when I do my disarms if I want. And I do them once again. Out. Keep flowing. Keep flowing. Don't stop flowing. Don't stop. I do the disarms out of the sombrado. Okay? So, step 1. Learn your 5 angles. Step 2. Learn your 6 blocks. Step 3. Learn your disarms and do them one at a time. The snake and the vine work on everybody. Okay? The quick release works on the 2 and the 4, the even, and the strip works on the 1 and the 3. Okay? I'm giving you a lot of info in a short period of time, and you're going to be able to ask me questions, and I'll be right there for you. So go over this. You're going to have a list of questions, but just remember, first learn it singularly, then you do it out of sombrado. Hang in there. Whenever we do a move, and this tape is about disarms, we need a prefix and a suffix. We want to keep you moving. I can't stand somebody standing there throwing out an angle one, you do a roof block and a disarm. You got to start that way, and then you got to make it alive. Then you got to do the disarms out of sombrado. And then you do the disarms from sparring, and then into sombrado. So watch what we do. We're doing the icing on the cake, but what we're really working is the disarms. Okay, so focus on what we're doing. This is called the Simon Says round, and I'm just going to tell them what to do. They don't even know what they're going to do. Okay, so let's start off just stick sparring. No contact. Ready? And keep that in your right hand, Ricky. Yeah, that would make everything easy for us. Go. Now very slow, break in sombrado. Drop your stick, Ricky. Feed him. Now this is the U drill. Slow down, move around. Footwork, footwork. I would like you guys to use footwork, please. Move around. Oh, in front of all. Okay, time. Now here's what I mean when I say footwork. Watch. We're gonna move all the way up to here. Follow me. Oh yeah, and we're gonna move back to here. Yeah, yeah. Don't stay right here. So yeah, footwork means foot and work and make a move. Okay, ready? And go. That's it. See how much more that looks alive? Good. Now start over, and this time when we get to that part, implement the footwork. Okay, from the very beginning. Now you see what we do. You got to be able to look at your students and go, no, 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 don't do it that way. Do it this way. Dan would say to me, he'd go, this is great. That sucks. You got to start moving. Okay? He's a coach, and you got to tell people what they're doing wrong. If I were studying from Dan this moment, he would be screaming at me for doing something wrong. Okay? And if you do not do that to your students, if you do not make corrections as you see them, they're going to do the same thing wrong forever. Okay? Ready, set, and sparring, no contact. Go. Sombrada. Drop the stick, feed. Very nice, gentlemen. See how alive this looks? Drop the stick, double knife spar. Single knife. Drop your knife, Ricky. Feed him. When you slow down, please, a little bit. And when you can, Ricky, find the disarm. Yeah, yes, beautiful. Rubber knife. Okay, and separate. That's beautiful. Okay. So the part we were doing was the disarms. But when you just do disarms, okay, it is boring and there's no movement in it, okay? So in addition to standing here like this, I get them up sparring. And what we would do normally is in the middle of the sparring, Ricky would shoot. Then they'd be on the ground rolling around doing jujitsu. Somebody would bite, somebody would come back up. So if the one thing you want to do is disarms, don't just do disarms. Do them out of the whole thing, and they will get better quicker. Hang in there with me. Well, I hope you enjoyed the disarm tape. Personally, it put me to sleep. But I did what you asked. You wanted disarms. Now I want to touch upon a subject that's important to me. I really feel my friends around the world, when they talk to me with this reticent tone of voice, trying to say these words, I feel like sometimes I'm a coward in a fight. But they can't get those words out, so they say things in lieu of that word is, will you teach me killer instinct? Will you teach me how to deal with fear? Okay? The emotional dimension of a street fight is 80%, and the physical dimension is 20. And martial artists have a problem with priorities as they have that opposite, more than that even. Okay? So, fear is an emotion. And contrary to popular belief, there's not thousands of emotions, and it's not the Manhattan Project. Most emotions can be confined within 6. You're either mad, or you're sad, or you're glad. You're afraid, you're ashamed, or you're hurt. Now, before you can address your emotion of fear, you have to know how to address emotions in general. If you're about to do something physical, you're going to have a physiological feeling of adrenaline, and the pituitary gland will be secreting hypothalamus gland and adrenaline throughout the body, and you're going to feel this. So when you feel this, we think, since I'm weak and shaky and my legs are weak, I have fear. I don't like this feeling, so therefore the opposite of it must be killer instinct, so I'm going to go find out what to do. Wrong. The feeling that you get in here is not fear, okay? It is a warning signal that something is about to happen. You can call it fear, but it's instantaneous fear at the moment. The worst kind of fear that you need to learn to abolish is projected fear. When you have eliminated projected fear, it's okay to be a little nervous if you're in a fight. And then you're going to go, and you're going to breathe into it. And if you get nervous when you spar, because you spar realistic, and if you get nervous a little bit when you do your jiu-jitsu, I get nervous when I play music. I get nervous a little bit before a big basketball game, okay? So that feeling that we call fear or nervousness, it's your body preparing. Well, the secret is when that feeling happens, you cannot conflate it with fear. It's nothing to do with that. And you can't look at it as a pejorative. It's not a negative thing. It is, here we go, time to roll. And you breathe into it, and then you're ready to go. It's almost a prerequisite for me anymore. That never goes away. It never goes away. When people say, I'm not afraid of anybody, well, then you're stupid. I got a list a mile long of people I'm afraid of. But if you fuck with my family, that's going to be a moot point, isn't it? Okay? So projected fear is this. Say you're walking down the street, and a German Shepherd attacks you. And you're like, holy shit, and you see this dog coming out of the bushes, frothing at his mouth, and you sprint, jump up a tree. That's real fear. Shit's really happening. And maybe without that adrenaline, you couldn't have made it up the tree. Okay? Now, when you're up in that tree, and the dog goes away, and you climb down, the next day you go to walk in that same park. If you don't go to that park, if you're worried, if you go to that park nervous because you're afraid that a dog is going to attack you, it didn't happen, you're projecting it. Projected fear is the worst thing you can have in life. It is the flip side of anger. Prolonged fear will create anger. Any prolonged pain in a man or an animal is going to create anger eventually. And when you walk around life fearing people, fearing things, fearing events, fearing home break-ins, fearing, but nothing's really happening, but it might happen. That dog might chase me down someday. You're sucking every bit of energy you need for life. So you have to get in touch with your feelings. So you have to differentiate, am I mad or am I sad? If I'm driving down the street and I see a car wreck and somebody's put the cover over somebody, they're dead, I'm gonna get a feeling of sadness. If I'm driving down the street and I wreck the car and my passenger dies and I know that person, now I have hurt. The difference between sad and hurt is deeper because you experience a loss. The difference between mad and sad. How many times do you see people happy and they cry? How many times have you asked the average person, how do you feel? You know what they're going to tell you? Fine. Fine is not a feeling. How do you feel? The best psychotherapists in the world, if you ask them, how do you feel? They'll go, I'm a little sad, a little happy, a little angry. And you're like, geez, it's more information than I needed. Okay? Because they're in touch with their feelings. And when you're in touch with your feelings, you're going to be able to get rid of the fear. So know the difference between projected fear and real fear. And now I'm going to give you a single secret. And this does not make you Gandhi. This does not make you Sister Teresa. You're not going to rock around better than anybody else. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to F up. You're going to scream or yell or cry. We're all human. We're all human. But if you're working on this, you're going to be the best you can be. So the final topic I'm going to say, in order to keep you from ever projecting fear, is to tell you this. Buy the book, The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle has been my therapist for 30 years. He is the most amazing man on the planet. The secret to not worrying about the future or the past is to be present. So while we're driving down the street, that little monkey in our head is jumping around subject to subject. So we spin our little wheel. Half the wheel is the past, half the wheel is the present. And every time we go up in our head, we're spinning that wheel. And it lands on, oh, the past. Oh, God, why did she say that to me? I don't know why she said that to me. I should have said it to her. Well, fuck you. And you're having dialogues with yourself, monologues with yourself. Spin the wheel again 5 minutes later, the future. Oh, my God, I got rent coming up. If I get that account, if I don't get the rent, spin the wheel again. Oh, we're back to the past. The wheel doesn't have a present, by the way. And that's the wheel of death. And as we live life and go up in our head, we spin that wheel of death. And we put ourselves in projected fear of the future or depression from the past. How can you have anxiety about something if it hasn't come yet? How can you have anxiety for the future if you're in the present? How can you have depression from the past? I was raped, I was this, I was that. We all have a horrible past of some ugly thing that's happened to us. You don't live in the past. The past strengthened you. You live in the present moment. And to live in the present moment, you watch yourself. Now, I'm not going to give you 30 years of information in this webinar, but I'm going to say, be aware when you're in the future and know the difference. Be aware when you're thinking and you're in the past. What am I doing there? What am I doing there? Be aware when you're present. And be aware of the difference between projected fear and real fear. People talk about God and they talk about religion. Okay? But then when it comes time for their actual actions, okay, sometimes they don't do the godly Christian thing. Because a lot of people, there's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And so many people work the physical and the mental, and they usurp working the emotional and go right to the spiritual. God will give me patience. God will give me this. God will give me love. Do you ever hear God helps those who help yourselves? So my suggestion is to work the emotional Learn the difference between mad, sad, glad, afraid, ashamed, hurt. Do your research on psychotherapy and brain physiology. You'll be so much happier and you'll be such a better fighter. I hope I didn't lose you. And I hope I didn't bore you to death. But I swear to God, I'm giving you this shit that if you were my son or daughter, this is what I would want you to know. So I hope you enjoy the tape you're about to watch, because it gave me a lot of heart and it gave me a lot of sadness watching it. And that's what I wanted to do, was move people. And it's a beautiful song. Good night. God bless. I hope you enjoyed our 35th anniversary. I've been trying my whole life to take our art and to do something deeper with it than just headbutting and biting. We've had our trials and tribulations working with children with disabilities. It's loving, but it's not efficient to find the child and to convince the parents that our martial art is going to help them, and then to have them train long enough that it'll make a difference. So we have so many hurdles that we tend to be inefficient in our higher goal. Recently, I found out about something called the Smile Project. And I've delved into and done a lot of research on children with cleft lip. And the irony about this particular ailment is two things. Imagine being a child, and imagine all the other kids just laughing and teasing you over a little stupid piece of skin on your lip. It's not just an injury. It's not missing a finger. It changes your whole aspect. You don't ever want to kiss a woman. You don't ever want to show your face. The kids are always doing this. With one donation of $500, we have doctors that will do a $12,800 surgery and take care of all these kids. And I want to make this point. It's just the point I want to make. I don't want to go to my grave being some stupid fighter. Just, really? I want to help people. And everyone I know is that way. Everybody I know. And in order to really hit home my heart, I was driving down the street and I heard a song. I'm a musician, and it's a song that I've heard in the past, and it was done by a different artist named Dave Drommel. And I was touched. I was so touched, I was in tears. And I said, I'm going to put together a videotape of life and death, of beauty and ugliness, of war and birth. And I hope I can touch some people with this tape to have you call me up and ask me about my Smile Project. So kick back and enjoy this, and please call me when it's done. God bless.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people